was India ever ready for indigenization and in avionics at that point?
The idea was that let's try something that's tough.
The rising power of the graph of Bharat today. Technology, business acumen, marketing, I think a wonderful combination. I think really welcome. I think we in Bharat should be really happy for people like you, with people like you. Then how do you ensure the quality assurance of those parts? And you have your own laboratory, you were telling me. So how is that done?
So as I said, there are two aspects. You have for any A&D, as what you call aerospace or defense product you supply, and generally even any kind of civilian product like this mic that I'm wearing has the environmental conditions and the electronic, the EMI, EMC. So you have certain standards, like in the civilian side we have IS 61000 for EMI, EMC, which has, so your device has to be compliant and you can get it tested anywhere for that. And electronic speed controllers that we obtain have this IS 61000. They need to be assembled with the IPC 610A standard for assembly. They need to be designed as per IEEE 2221. So, see, once you have the vision through the supply chain down to the chip, you understand that standards form an integral part of the system. You have a standard for design, like if you take a PCB, it's IEEE 2221. You have a standard for production, which is IPC 610. Once it's produced, you have a standard for that specific module, which is IS 61000 in this, MIL 461 A to F for defense. And once all that is done, you need to finally put it in a box or a kind of a casing. That is tested against environmental standards, which is, in civilian you have the IEC 304741 or IS 9000 part 2 and 3. And in defense you have JSS 5555855.
I guess the question also perhaps is, or at least I can pick on that, do you have the ecosystem, manufacturing ecosystem for handling all of this in India, or did it build over?
See, if you look at it in electronics, yes, we do have that. It has taken us time to build and understand. See, I remember the first PCB we made in 2015 or so, we didn't know anything of standards. So, as a tech guy, we had put tracks all over the place. We found out, we switched it on, it doesn't work. Then after that, the next version that we made, it kind of worked. We gave it to the EMI MC, Samir was a lab in Chennai. We gave it for compliance testing, it failed. And then they told us, they didn't have also a clear idea as to what has to be done. Luckily, we had certain mentors, who was, because we were working on an ED project. And then after that, we learned those standards. Then we learned about manufacturing. So it's been a learning curve.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
The ecosystem?
Yes, the ecosystem today exists for testing these objects. Okay. So you can today go to somebody like TASL in Bangalore, get your EMI EMC done. You can go to, Samir in Chennai, which is STQC does it for software here in Delhi. So we have standards, we have testing facilities available. And today, the good thing that happened post 2018 was that testing for MIL standards, which is aerospace and defense standards, moved out of facilities like DRDO and others, which are government. See, government comes with its own level of inertia. Yeah. So, a typical, say, JSS 5855 test, previous to 2008, used to take a year. After that, what has happened is the MOD, Ministry of Defense, under the DDP, Department of Defense Production, has authorized certain private laboratories like Tata and Astra Microwave and Accord to perform these tests and give compliance certifications. So with that, something that takes a year has now come down to 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
Very nice. So that's good. And what about manufacturing? This is testing. Manufacturing, do you do that yourself or are there ecosystem partners?
There are, so like for example, we have our entire PCB is manufactured by a company in Gujarat, which is
So the ecosystem
yeah,
exists
it
also
exists.
for that.
Yes, yes,
Very nice.
it exists. See, it exists to the level of the PCB, not below that. If you look at semiconductor tech, that does not exist today. Of course, we have been working, and we have recently been able to get our hand on India's first microcontroller, which is Tejas 32. And we are trying to see how we can include that in our products. But yeah, I think, that is one aspect that also the government understands they are working towards. Yeah, but generally, if you look at it at the overall level, there is facility to produce, there is facility